Okay, hopefully it's all rolling. Um, hey guys, this is Scepter from Scepter Gaming coming at you with another video or a podcast. So today I'm going to be going over the patch notes for the new update that's going to go live 10 o'clock a.m. in Japan, and you can just convert that to your regular time zone when you want. So tons of weapons have been changed, two specials have been changed, only one sub-weapon has been changed, which is kind of... I get it, but also at the same time I think that Auto Bomb should get a buff. They need to walk just a tad bit faster, but that's my opinion. So without further ado, let's go and continue on to the updates. So the three shooters that were changed were the GAT 52 Gal, the 52 Gal Deco, and the Kensa 52 Gal. Basically, they increase the likelihood the turf around your feet will be inked when firing. With the Splat Roller, the Crack On Splat Roller, and the Kensa Splat Roller, plus the Hero Roller Replica, they slightly extended the splash of ink from swinging sideways. Pretty much, when you swing horizontal sideways, yeah. What am I doing? That's probably... It's gonna continue. For the Flingster Roller and the Foil Flingster Roller, they reduce the time required to swing the weapon overhead in a vertical swing by 3/60ths of a second. With the Tri-Slasher and the Tri-Slasher Noval, they reduced the interval at which you can repeatedly swing by roughly 2/60ths of a second. With the Heavy Splatling, the Heavy Splatling Deco, the Heavy Splatling Remix, and the Hero Splatling Replica, they decreased the variance of shots spread when firing while on ground by roughly 6%. With the Splat Dualies, the N-Parry Splat Dualies, the Kensa Splat Dualies, and the Hero Dualie Replicas, they slightly widened the spread of ink created by shots. With the Gluga Dualies, the Gluga Dualies Deco, and the Kensa Gluga Dualies, they basically decreased the ink consumption from shots fired by roughly 7%. That's good news for me because I'm trying to be better with the Gluga Dualies, and that's actually good news because I really don't like how much ink they take up. With the Classic Squiffer, the New Squiffer, and the Fresh Squiffer, they reduced the time from releasing a charge shot to being ready to shoot by roughly 1/60th of a second. Basically, Squiffer will be able to charge faster. With the Splat Charger, Firefin Splat Charger, the Kensa Charger, and the Hero Charger Replica, they reduced the time from releasing a charge. Basically, the same thing as the Squiffer, except it was boosted more by 2/60ths of a second. With the Splatter Scope, the Firefin Splatter Scope, the Kensa Splatter Scope, they very slightly narrowed the width of the area inked with a fully charged shot. The area inked remains unchanged for models without scoped, like the ones I said in the past one that were reduce their shot time, charge time or whatever. With the E-Leader 4K and Custom E-Leader 4K, they reduced the time from releasing a charge shot to be ready to shoot by roughly 2/60ths of a second. For the E-Leader 4K scope and the Custom E-Leader 4K scope, they very slightly narrowed the width of the area by a fully charged shot. The area inked remains unchanged for models without scopes. Pretty much the same ones in the most recent one. Basically, it stays unchanged for the E-Leader 4K and Custom E-Leader 4K. For the Ballpoint Splatling and the Ballpoint Splatling Noval, they reduced the velocity of ink over long distances by 4% and reduced the range. They reduced the movement speed by roughly 10% when charging and firing from a close range. With the Tentabrella and Tentacerella and the Tenta Camo Umbrella, they extended the time it takes to restore the umbrella portion after launching it, or it being destroyed, by roughly 40/60ths of a second. And they increased the ink consumption for spread shots by roughly around 10%. The only sub-weapon change in this patch was the Toxic Mist, which it's a pretty big change. Basically, it now affects ballers, so you can't use ballers to escape no more. No escaping. And now onto the two special weapons that were changed. Basically, for the baller, they extended the time. You have to hold down the ZR button to trigger the explosion by roughly 16/60ths of a second. When you have a weapon equipped that has a fast walking speed, or basically, if you walk faster with the dualies, then you'll go faster than the baller. But if you have a weapon that's really heavy, for example, like the dynamo, it will make it so that the baller is affected by that. It applies to all the following weapons that can use blaster: the Aerospace RG, Luna Blaster, the Ink Brush Noval, and the Undercover Zorella Umbrella. When you have a weapon equipped that is a fast walking speed, but not firing or a fast squid form swimming speed, they reduce the maximum speed by roughly 14%. It only applies to the following weapon: Custom Explosion. The Bubble Blower was the other weapon that's changed in this patch. Basically, they extended the time until a bubble pops by roughly 2 seconds. They reduced the size of the first and second bubbles. The area over which damage is dealt and the area which is inked by an exploding bubble depends on the size of the bubble. And that's all for the specials. Now for some different updates. They basically changed the amount needed to get specials. Basically for NSAP, it was before 180 points, now it's 170. And same for the custom range blaster, 180 to 170. The L3 nozzle nose, it's 210 to 220. The foil squeezer, it's 180 to 190. The ink brush Noval is now from 160 to 180. And for the last few updates before this podcast ends, they changed the unlock conditions for Color Pulls and Defeat Song and Squid Beats too, so anyone can play them. Basically, Color Pulls you could only unlock by listening to it in the Splatfest, but now you just get it straight up. And the track 26 is the Defeat Song soundtrack for when you lose a match. Basically, now you just get it, no matter what. Basically, they extended the time limit to play your next game after you repeatedly disconnect within a short period of time. This change will affect only those with frequent disconnects, less than 1% of all players worldwide. The more frequent you disconnect over a short period of time, the longer the time limit to play your next game will be. And basically, when you get this patch note, if someone else does not, then you won't be able to play with them in the show. Anyways, that will be it for this one. For this podcast, pretty much. If you want to suggest topics to talk about, or maybe like who I should do it with, if you're in my server and if you want to be in it or something like that, basically just tell me your suggestions down below. Without further ado, Scepter is /